Hello everybody and welcome back to Kerbal Space Program, where last episode we launched this satellite launcher. We've got all of these little probes that are intended to scout ourselves out a landing location on Eve. I don't know if we're going to need more than what we've got here. If we do, we can always send another flight, but I'm hoping that one of these 9 will find us a decent location. Of course, we're going to need to attempt to get on out of here. I think we're going to do a gravitational assist with the moon to get out. And I'm noticing some frame drops here. Hopefully that smooths out. Okay, let's take a look over here. And I wasn't getting this when I was just playing City Skylines a minute ago. I think this is a KSP thing. But let's go ahead and bring this on in. We're going to want to delay this a little bit and bring it down in terms of how much we're burning here. That is quite a gravity assist. I like it. So we'll do something like that. We will, of course, wiggle our way on over to our maneuver node. This is not intended to turn with this stage necessarily, but that is okay. So we'll make our way on over. And we need to head to Eve. Now the question is, do we want to actually time warp over there and get all this done this episode? At least get into position. And I think the answer to that is probably. I mean, before we can really make too many more plans, we need to redesign our ascent stage, right? We already know that. That's got nowhere near enough DV. So that needs to be done. But more than anything, what we need is to know where our landing sites are going to be. That's the biggest thing. And this will complete ourselves a contract if we happen to splash down on Eve as well. So I think that's pretty good. Now, the question of whether these guys will survive re-entry, we didn't simulate it. So they may or may not, in all honesty. Well, let's go ahead and make our way over towards the maneuver node here. We're going to burn this at T minus, let's see here, that would be 15 plus 3.5 seconds, so 18.5 seconds. Wonderful. So we will go ahead and warp towards 18.5 seconds, now that we are in position. And let's go ahead and burn this now. And off we go. We're going to have a lot of Delta V in this thing. That's pretty safe to say. More than enough, specifically. Okay, so how's our apoapsis doing? I mean, it's growing, to be sure. Yep, we've got about 9 seconds left in this burn. Okay, and we'll just bring that in a little tighter, about like that. That'll do. Fantastic. So at this point, we should now warp to here. Here we come, Moon. What's our periapsis height here? 24 kilometers? Yeah, that should be plenty safe. So, out we go. We've still got 1951 in this first stage. This first stage is definitely pretty overpowered for this mission. There was no doubt about that. I think I underestimated a bit how powerful those Clydesdales were. So we are, of course, going to warp on by the moon. Hello, Moon. Goodbye, Moon. That was a pretty close encounter, but pretty speedy. Excellent. And at this point, let's warp to our Kerbal escape. Okay. Now, before we do anything else, there is another thing that I want to do this episode. So, let's actually stop this time warp, and let's head on back to the Space Center. Because I want to continue working on filling up the fuel on our Minmus station. So, that of course means that we should take our lander down to the base location. So, let's go ahead and hop into the tracking station here. And I still haven't gotten around to cleaning all this up. I really probably should. But we'll go ahead and fly the Brazil Space Station Core. So named, of course, because we have such fond memories of conquering Brazil. And this is our landing craft here. Now the question is, how much DV do we have in this thing? We need what, like 500-ish to land and have some decent margin? Something along those lines. We really should come out here with an engineer and strut this up sometime. What I'm going to do, though, is I'm just going to undock. And we've got 1,000 DV. Oh, that's plenty. That is absolutely plenty. We are going to just... not that way. We're going to back our way out a little bit. And SAS on stability assist. Fantastic. And which one of these do we want to go for? You know, I still don't know because... oh, that's the mining outpost. Well, that tells me. That's on the dark side, though. Okay. So, we'll just let this continue to be. And we're going to head back to the Space Center, and we're going to warp a little further in our other craft so that we're hopefully not on the dark side. I want to make sure that we don't have a maneuver coming up, though. I'm not sure when the ascending and descending node for Eve is going to be. So that is why we're coming over here and checking that. So that's the fuel hauler. We want the Eve probe launcher. And I really do need to clean this up. Or at least reclassify them as debris. That would be nice too. Okay, so we are, of course, on our way out here. And where's our exit at? Wait, are we... oh, we're in space high over the sun. Perfect. Okay, I didn't realize that we had actually exited the sphere of influence of Kerbal. So we'll set Eve as our target. Oh, we've got plenty of time. We have plenty of time. Like, that is a frankly ludicrous amount of time. So at the descending node, we are, of course, going to want to change our inclination here down to be something along the lines of that. That's in 166 days. So let's head right on back to the Space Center. We now know how long that's going to be. That is more than enough time to do this min-miss operation. So that should be perfect. Okay, let's head back to the tracking station, and let's hop back to the fuel hauler. And we will go ahead and do our warping here until such a time as the mining outpost, which I'll set as target so that we can hopefully actually see it here. Not exactly, but so that we can hopefully then warp this and have that come around to the day side. Okay. It's coming around now. Fantastic. So, I think that what we should do is we should probably go something kind of like this-ish. Kind of like that. Maybe a little further down. Yeah, about like that. We'll head over to the maneuver node. Excellent. Hello, Moon. Hello, Kerbal. Hello, Space Station. And of course, our target is over here, about 100 kilometers away. And we'll go ahead and warp over to that node. This is only going to be a 2-second burn, so we're going to have to be pretty cautious with it. Yeah, we can see here, this is just getting into sunlight at this point. That's fantastic. Maybe we wanted to warp it a little further, but we should be seeing sunrise over here very, very briefly. Or very, very shortly, rather. So let's go ahead and tick forward a bit here. And we will commit to this burn sometime around now. Okay. So we'll do that. And how's our targeting looking for KER? Okay, we definitely want to bring this in surface retrograde a little bit more. Sounds good to me. So we'll just bring this on in. Wonderful. And of course, we'll dial in our final position a little bit more once we get a little closer. Something along the lines of this should be good for now. I'm going to stop it there. I want to maybe burn a little normal here. I think it's normal. It might be anti-normal. Let's flip on over and see. Nope, it's anti-normal. Okay. So we'll flip over to anti-normal. And bring it down just that little bit more. Yeah, something about like that. We'll go ahead and warp forward about 3 minutes. And we'll flip over to surface retrograde, of course. We'll extend our landing legs. And here we come. Of course, we're going to have to kill our relative velocity once we get a little bit above the actual facility, and we'll have to dial in our actual position a bit more. That's okay. We'll just let our altitude come on down. Suicide burn countdown is apparently in 1 minute 30 seconds, and I think that is actually close to right. But we're not actually going to suicide burn this because I want to control the landing position a bit more than that. Is that our bullseye? I saw a little bit of red there. Yeah, I think that's our bullseye. Right there. If we burn a little bit, we'll find out, but I don't want to burn right now. We're still traveling in. About 1 minute on the suicide burn countdown. We're not going to suicide burn, as I said. That's gotta be the bullseye. That's gotta be it. So that indicates to me that we probably want to head somewhere over this direction. Bring that in just a little bit. Okay, we'll flip back to surface retrograde. Suicide burn countdown in about 30 seconds. And we're going to want to kill this velocity fairly soon. It does mean that we're going to have to acquire additional horizontal velocity. Maybe we should just kill our vertical velocity for right now. And do something like this. So, we're killing our vertical speed. Okay, over to surface retrograde. And we're going to burn hard. Now. Okay. Going to continue to bring that in. Looks good there. We may need to kill this velocity again, but we'll see. We'll see how close that is. We might want to take it over this way a little bit. Which way is that way? It is down. Down is that way. Okay. So we'll bring it in something like that. Suicide burn countdown in about 30 seconds, but I'm, again, probably not going to suicide burn here. Our horizontal speed is still going up a little bit. Actually, we may suicide burn this. I'm probably going to undershoot it, or rather overshoot it a little bit. 10 seconds on the suicide burn countdown. Yeah, I'm just going to bring us in. I can see right now that we're going to have to change our positioning, so that's fine. Okay. We're going to head on over this direction here. Not quite that far. Which way am I going here? Which way am I going here? You know, I actually don't know. Let's head over to surface retrograde. We're going to have to try this again. Okay. Kill this velocity. And I want to head up over, not that direction, but rather this direction. There. That'll do. Now we'll head to surface retrograde. And we'll just come on in. This should be okay. Changing our alignment a little bit, though. Okay. In we come. Yeah, this should be a completely okay position. Beautiful. Whoa! I don't know what that turn was there at the end. I did not do that. That was very strange. Okay. Well, now that we are, of course, here, we are going to switch over to the mining outpost, and we are going to attempt to get our robotic arm to actually hook up with that. That shouldn't be too bad, I don't think. How are we looking over here? We're going to need to unextend this, for sure. And then maybe flip this like that. Nice. Okay, as far as this actual alignment over here goes, it's going to need to be something like this. And then we'll need to extend this guy out all the way. We're probably going to need to have no target angle here. Extend this guy out all the way. And then have no target angle here. We may have to change our actual angling on this guy. And I believe we will. Okay, so let's change this target angle to be at 0. Like so. And let's increase this one to be around, not 90 degrees, but maybe like 80. Okay. I didn't expect that to happen. Well, we have good news and bad news. The good news is, or rather the bad news is, that this docking port just exploded. I did not expect it to have enough force to do that. Lesson learned. Lesson learned. The bad news is we gotta fix it. So, we're going to hop over to Bill Kerman here, who's standing right over here. And he is just going to have to grab a docking port off of here for now. It's the only one that we have right now. We can always send up additional ones if I continue to have issues with it. It's not a big deal. But we'll just grab this docking port off of here and attach it right on there. And now we will switch back to the mining outpost. Fantastic. And we're going to take a quick look at this. Yeah, we're going to need to retract this for sure. But lesson learned on that one. And we're going to need to rotate this guy around to 0. Because we're going to need to elevate this a bit. And then we will need to set this target angle up to be a little overshooty, honestly. Like 20 degrees, perhaps. Does that feel a little overshooty? Maybe. We'll extend this guy on out, and then this one will need to be an additional 20 degrees to offset that angle, like that. And then we'll extend this guy out. I feel like our actual angle here is going to be a little awkward. But we've got plenty of reach to make this happen. Whoa! No, no, no. Don't shove that over. Don't shove that over. Okay. These arms are a little stronger than I expected, in all honesty. So we're going to need to lift this up to be like 25 degrees or 30 degrees. 30 degrees feels a little high. Bring it down to 25. Excellent. And I think that we may end up having to rotate this guy to be something like this, just to match that angle. Okay. And then rotate this around to be this direction, which means that this one, of course, needs to rotate back to be like at 0. Approximately. No, that's not right. Like negative 80. Yes. Yes. And then we would need this guy to rotate in kind of like this. And then we need a little bit more height. Okay, let's pull this back so that we don't blow it up again. And then we'll increase this height just a little bit. Allow this to settle a little. Maybe push it in from this angle, though. Just ease it in. Okay. Things are looking reasonable here. Need maybe just a little bit more height, though. Yeah, a little height. Bring that up to, like, here. And then this one comes in like that. Wonderful. Our angle is still a little off over here. Oh, and we need to set this as our target. That would help too. Just got to mess with this angle a little bit. Hopefully get it to go here. Pull this back a little. You can see their docking force is working. But unfortunately, the base is pretty stable here. And so is fairly unlikely. Oh, I see. We need to increase this just a smidge. There we go. Wonderful. So here we are, and this will begin refueling. Let's head on back to the Space Center. And while that is going, we will, of course, work on getting our inclination set up for our Eve probes. Just as soon as it loads in. There we go. And let's head on over to our probe launcher. So, we need to change our inclination here. This is going to be in like 166 days. That is completely fine. We are not in a time crunch right now. So, let's go ahead and head towards that maneuver node. I'm going to physics warp this turn. It'll create a lot of wobbling. I'm sure there's not going to be any problem whatsoever with that. Fantastic. I do wish that these were able to be jettisoned. That would be something that we should probably think about doing in the future. But let's go ahead and warp towards this. And of course, while we're doing this, our fuel station is filling up. So that is great. And then we'll be able to take that back up to our Minmus station. We do need to continue working on refilling that as we are working towards our Eve project, because refueling at that station is going to be pretty vital to having enough Delta V to pull this all off. So that will be a-okay. So we're going to come on in over here and burn this at T minus 6.5 seconds. So we'll just warp on forward here towards 6.5. And we will burn this right now. Wonderful. So here's our inclination change. And we'll just burn the last little bit here. Should be good. Yep, absolutely fine. Now, how does an intercept with Eve look? It's probably going to look awkward. Almost for sure. Come on. There we go. There's stuff all over this marker right now. So let's just go ahead and do that. Yeah, we are exactly on the opposite side. I am not shocked by this. We may have to wait like almost a full orbit. Yeah, that's basically on the other side. It looks like over here is where we're going to get that encounter. That's only 900 more meters per second. That's really not bad. I'd like to enter an equatorial orbit here, and a fairly low one. So, let's tweak this a little bit. And bring that periapsis right on in. Again, I want this to be a pretty low orbit. Like, we're talking 100 kilometers here. Something along the lines of that. will do nicely. Remember, the Eve atmosphere, and this is not the inclination that I want. Remember, the Eve atmosphere is starting at 90 kilometers. So by setting it at 100 kilometers... Oof, that was very sensitive. By setting it at 100 kilometers, we don't actually have a lot of margin there, but that does mean that our little probes here should be completely fine. We've got that decoupler there. That's the fuel tank. Got a heat shield up here. Do we have a decoupler after our engine? I don't think so. That's going to be awkward. We do have a heat shield on there, I think. Right? Am I dumb? I swear I put a heat shield on this. Well, that could be interesting if we're trying to enter without a heat shield. Oh boy. I may have forgotten one. Well, we'll give it a go. We've got 700 delta V, so could be interesting. Could be interesting. I mean, we've got that Ant and 700 delta V in the Oscar A liquid fuel tank in theory. I swear I put a heat shield on this. Maybe I removed it. Oh well. I guess we'll see if it's possible to enter without a heat shield when we're that small. It's going to be real interesting. At any rate, we need to go to this maneuver node, but it is time to put a cut in here, so I'm going to go ahead and do that next episode. We'll find out if these probes can possibly survive. I swear there was a heat shield. Oh well. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and I'll see you all next time.